Welcome to Understand the Times from Kenya. And I have with me one of our first Bryce Homes recipients, Terry. And Terry, tell me about how the Bryce Homes program has affected your life since you've been part of the program.
She has a very big change in her life. She has a very big change in her life. She's eating well. She was living in a manner that was so frustrating. She did not have a good house, which is very true from what was captured before. She knew that the husband had died, and now she had no hope. Nobody would put up a house for her, and people were just looking at her like that. And God did a miracle. She now has a house. And even where she was, she did not have a good name. She was just being seen like despised there. And God worked miracles. She is now somebody.
Now, let me ask the question. When did she become a Christian, and how did that happen?
When Pastor Lucas and Pastor Lawrence paid a visit to her, she was taught and talked to, and she received Jesus, and she did not have good name and was despised. People were just looking at her, laughing at her, and she didn't know that Jesus was there for her. And in fact, that actually is what has happened in her life, and now she's seeing the grace that is there for her when these people brought her a talk, discussed with her, and she changed from that there and received Jesus.
So, yes, I understood that. I'd heard it before. That Pastor Lawrence had shared the gospel with her, I think when he was working on her house, doing some of the stonework. And that's when she heard the message of the gospel.
Yes, when the Pastor Lucas and Pastor Lawrence went to her, is when actually she stood, she listened to the word.
Yes.
No time she had heard with the servants of God to listen to the word, the way they took their time and sat with her.
So what was she believing before she became a Christian? And what was her faith? She was worshiping in Catholic, and there was something that was happening in her life that she did not understand. People were saying that she was a witch, and she did not understand. It was a devil that was working through her, and she did not understand. So when the servants of God went and they preached and they commanded the powers of darkness to walk out of her, and actually that she got delivered, and from there she started walking in the righteous way of Jesus Christ. Amazing testimony. Then I understand that she shared her faith with some other widows here in this area.
Yeah, she has been sharing with others, and a number are really concurring that she is a changed woman of Christ now. And she even sees others also trying to cope up or trying to come to her to be led to the Christian way of life.
So she has become literally an evangelist here in this community to share the gospel with others.
In koro kaka koro Nyasaye osewarini donge inyalo bede ng'ama nyalo share kendo puonjore gi jowadgi mondo gibe giyude lokruok ka gima kama kata nyalo tuchi gik moko nyalo sando ngimagi mondo giyud lokruok.
Anyalo gombo kendo anyalo dwaro mondo luore mago Nyasaye mondo golna luoro.
Her prayer is still for God to shake off fears because of the tormenting state that she was in before being delivered, so that she can have the courage and be brave enough to move in full swing to share with others and even to make changes in the lives of others who may have been in the same trap.
So let me ask you this. The gospel has been proclaimed here in this village now for over 5 years. What changes has she seen or observed how God has worked here in this community?
Wach Nyasaye koro se landi kendo se puonji e gweng' ma kaendi gimoro higa ma koro dhi apiche. In iwuon kaka tere lokruok mane miseneno kaluwore gi wach Nyasaye mosebed kipuonjo mar higa koro apiche madiwachi?
Aseneno lokruok mang'eny nikech kuma ne pok yudo warruok ni chiemo to pan na chiemo. Dala mane nitiere ni chiki keta bura pile ka pile kendo noweya monge ng'ama ne sudo kuma nachung' kaka yien mochung' e liare. Koro nyaka ne sani wadonjo warruok aneno ka koro ji sudo koda machiegni manyiso Nyasaye osetemo na muono.
Ji mamoko be nene lokruok kuomgi mopogore gi
Ji moko
kaluwore gi wach Nyasaye. Okay, according to her, before the word of God started being proclaimed, personally on her, she had difficulties because the spirits that were working through her made people to fear her, such that whenever people were eating, if she was spotted anywhere around, they were to hide food. She was seen just standing like a tree somewhere there. She was not regarded because of the spirits that were working through her. And now people are seeing her as a human being and would even be close. Even when they are eating their food, they are not scared. And that is on her. And she's really praising God for that, for having relieved her. And even others, she's seeing changes in them, not like they were before. I was here before those days. I remember, and even me, I can tell. It was a difficult place when we were here, even with the students. One time it was so difficult for me because I was the one with the students, and two were affected by the people when they were eating. And I could not take them to hospital. But good enough, God led us to some place where they were helped. It was a problem, and that thing is now fading off.
So what you're telling me is that many of these people have been involved with the demonic realm in some way, and their lives have been under the control of Satan.
That is very much true.
So Christianity, now that it's come to this community, has made a difference in not only delivering people, but giving them a hope for the future.
It is true. In fact, it's not delivering them only, but there is hope and light in this region. They are seeing a very big difference. And I believe the name of the Lord is really upheld here by the work of the hand of God through this program. She's giving the testimony here.
Well, I can see in Terry's face, I've known her now for about 5 years. She was one of the original Bryce Homes, and to see now her face and her countenance, she's a totally different person.
Yes.
So the testimony is in her appearance as well.
Yeah. Owachoni en bende ong'eyo neno kaka noyudi kaka oneni. Oneno ni nitiere nyisruok mar ranyisi mar lokruok e ngimani. To lamo en mane onego in be imed lamo mondo lokruok no med nenore e ngimani kendo med tiyo kawuok kuomi kadhi ne jomamoko.
So one other question. One time we provided some income to start a small business. That was only on a one-time basis, but has she been able to find a way of trying to work towards self-sufficiency, or if not, what would she like to do?
Nitie ndalo moko mane mpango moro otimore mar mondo mi uyude gik munya timo matin. Be nochoponi? To ere kaka ineno kata paro mane madin go? Be dibede ni bende nigi paro moro madimi iyud kaka itimo giri moro kata iyud kaka ichung' kata ng'ama notimore, ng'ama ditimre gi paro no in go?
An kode. An kode to kaka nyalo chako bata.
Mane otimore chano notimore nade?
Mase notimore na ero to moko no de ng'adore.
Okay, she started a small business, but due to that challenges in life and family life, it's like what she had, she went up and it was again consumed and used in different ways in the family. But she's really willing and really praying for her to be self-supporting. And our prayer is still for God to open up ways for her maybe to move on and be doing something to make her supporting. Yeah.
It's very difficult without a husband. How old was her husband, or how old was she when her husband died?
Okay, siche mane ja odio to no yuka inja igadi to ja odio kata ja ogito ni pani ikene nya bede.
Jora seta ikene ng'enya no kawa kan giga pa gari.
Ninja iga prare. Siche mano to ni ninja igadi.
Seche mano to. Okanyal ng'eyo kan.
No ka giga igare. Tu bedo kod igni adi. Mondo kaka to.
Abedo kod higa 6.
Koro to ninja iga prare ga 6. She was roughly 26 years by the time the husband passed away.
Very young lady.
Yeah.
Well, let me thank Terry for participating in this short interview. She's an example of wonderful things that God is doing in this town. And we just pray God would continue to bless other widows so they would have a similar testimony. Terry, thank you so much for being on this interview. So thank you for joining us today on today's report.